What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster. And imagine you're a normie. You're watching the Last of Us TV show even though you didn't get into the games because your corporate masters convinced you to consume. And you're just waltzing along, enjoying this thing, wondering why so many gamers turned against the franchise, and then all of a sudden, the golf club strikes out of nowhere as Naughty Dog throws you a big ol' curveball. Predictably, Abby killing Joel in The Last of Us Season 2 has caused quite a stir on social media, as people like Grace Randolph here nope out on the show. She's not gonna watch it or cover it anymore, and her explanation is hilarious. She wrote, "I'm not gonna cover The Last of Us Season 2 and will probably stop watching the show. I really disliked last night's episode. Despite liking cutscenes of the second game quite a bit, Abby was never cruel. But I see a lot of people enjoyed Dever's performance, so I don't want to be critical of it. Abby was never cruel? Are you sure about that?"
Tourniquet his leg. Do it. You stupid old man. You don't get to rush this.
She seems nice.
Let's just be honest about what this is. With someone like Grace, her whole shtick is loving everything that corporate TV churns out, and this story that they're adapting from The Last of Us 2 is so mind-blowingly awful that she can't even pretend to like it for the next several weeks, even though she did pretend to like it for quite a while beforehand, before she played the games herself or anything like that. She pretended to like it for tribalistic reasons. So now she's noping out because she can see which way the wind is blowing. She knows that she will piss off a lot of her followers who are pro-corporate tribalists. If she shits on this show too much, people are absolutely hating on this season on Rotten Tomatoes, and some people like this jackass here just can't handle that people out here like us have differing opinions, saying that he hates gamers.
Oh, that's too bad. We're so sorry.
Personally, I enjoy reading comments from people like this guy here, whining about why the show is getting scored so poorly on Rotten Tomatoes. This Rotten Tomatoes review says, "I don't understand, how are people rating it so low? So far, they are sticking to the video game, and actually, you can tell they care about staying true to it. Yes, Ellie on the second game was treating Joe bad. That's what happens. It is not something the director decided. So far, 2 episodes in, and I'm glad they are following the game and staying true to it. Even Neil Druckmann himself, as you can see here, thinks that they successfully recreated the second game. So what gives? Why are people hating on the show so much?" Well, here's the not-so-secret secret that a bunch of these doofuses really need to understand. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't like The Last of Us 2's story. We can't all be corporate salad tossers.
I like to eat shit!
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We just blew past another subscriber milestone, so it is time to ask the following question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
We're now at 129,000 subscribers to the channel, and with every 1,000 subs, I add a new ship to our Buccaneer fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you guys recommended the Weatherlight from the classic Magic the Gathering stories, which I can't believe I haven't added that ship yet, considering that I'm a big Magic the Gathering guy. But anyhow, if you have suggestions for future ships, drop them into the comment section and I'll add them to my long list. Super chats get bumped to the top of the list with the other super chats, and also, I am adding an alphabetical list of all the ships already in the fleet in the description of this video for your reference. But in any case, thanks for being here, guys.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Anyhow, let's chat about The Last of Us 2 and how they are starting to bleed fans. The viewership for the show seems like it's going to tank. There was a lot of speculation that Naughty Dog wouldn't actually go through with it, with killing Joel early on and making Abby such an unlikable witch. Yeah, I know they tried to make the character sympathetic in part 2 of the game, but to anyone with an ounce of humanity in them, that was never an option. Being sympathetic to Abby was never gonna happen. You see, humans form biases among other humans. We develop a liking of characters in a story, for example, and once you get us to like a character, you can't just flip a switch and make us like the person who kills them with a golf club. That is an awful way to tell a story, and it's inadvertently dehumanizing, trying to get us to sympathize with the killer of someone like that, someone that we have grown to enjoy and love. Think of it this way. What if the coolest guy in the world, someone that you have excellent rapport with, who would share all of your hobbies and interests, what if that person got in a car accident and accidentally killed someone that's a friend or family member of yours? Is there even the ghost of a chance that you are going to want to be friends with that person afterwards? If you're human, then I don't think so. Frankly, I would never forgive that person. I might eventually stop being angry, but that person would never be in my good graces. I am never going to be friends with them. Now, imagine if that person did it on purpose, and that is what we're dealing with in The Last of Us 2. And yet these idiots wonder why people can't stand the story, why we rebel against it. Hell, people like Grace Randolph here can't understand why she doesn't like it, and she doesn't want to confront those feelings. But Neil Druckmann is super proud of his studio for recreating The Last of Us 2 in cinematic form, as you can see here. This is from Bounding Into Comics, and it says, as seen in the recently aired second episode of Season 2, Through the Valley, rather than delaying the inevitable and opening themselves up to a months-long storm of questions regarding whether or not they would actually go through with it, Druckmann and Mazin instead chose to rip the band-aid off and have Abby use Joel's head as a driving range early into the series' take on The Last of Us Part 2. And moving on here in the article, before I read more, I'd like to take a real quick time out looking at that picture of Abby and point out how hilarious it is, once again, that this frail little woman is playing Abby. Of all the things that they faithfully recreated in this second season, for some reason, a roided out MMA female fighting figure isn't one of them. It's almost like what we said all along, that the portrayal of Abby wasn't all that realistic after all, and they couldn't find an actor who could do it properly. Anyhow, reading on, intended by Druckmann to be one of the more emotional and shocking scenes of the PlayStation duology, while some players walked away from the game having experienced those exact feelings, more found themselves unimpressed and even outraged at what they saw as a narratively nonsensical attempt, as it asks players to believe that despite everything, Joel had somehow either forgotten his post-apocalyptic survival skills or chosen to randomly abandon them to subvert expectations. However, despite this clash of opinion among The Last of Us game fans, Druckmann believes that the scene's live-action recreation was wholly able to recreate the heartbreaking feeling, or at least the intended one, of the digital original. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly's Nick Romano regarding the ins and outs of Joel's on-screen death alongside the aforementioned Mason, Druckmann's reflection was preempted by his partner's reflection that it wasn't surprising to me when Neil talked about Joel's death when we were just starting to work on the first season. Part of what makes The Last of Us relevant to those of us who aren't living in a fungal apocalypse is that it portrays the shattering nature of loss, said the Chernobyl series actor. It talks about what is left behind when somebody is torn away from you, then you start to wonder what price we all pay in our lives, all of us, for caring about people that much. From there, Druckmann himself affirmed, so many times adaptations don't, and you can't recapture that moment. Here, I feel so lucky that we did. Yeah, you're really lucky, dude. That's why the Rotten Tomatoes score for the show has dropped like a rock. That's why you got people like this here who are turning on the show, saying they hate it now. I just want to be very clear. I agree that this is, in fact, a faithful adaptation. They so far have nailed down the second game perfectly, which is why people are checking out. Because gamers were right. This story is dog shit. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of Druckmann and The Last of Us into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.